of medicine called neurogastroenterology that studies the enteric nervous system, or the gut-brain. Neurons are cells that communicate using electrical and chemical signals. Generally, we think of neurons as being confined to the brain or other specialised areas like the eyes or ears. What many people don't know is that there are over 100 million neurons in the tissues of the digestive system, running from the esophagus to the anus. These neurons have the job of monitoring food intake and adjusting the digestive process to meet the body's nutritional requirements. Most people fail to realise that your gut is quite literally your second brain. In addition to digesting your food, it has the ability to influence your mind, mood, and behaviour. What you eat not only has a direct effect on your gut, it also has a direct effect on your brain.
The angry vegetarian. Who wants to eat healthy if it'll just make you cranky? Well, a new study was just released on the emotional health and mood states of vegetarians. We know about the physical health benefits, but might that come at the cost of their mental health, particularly with regard to mood? They used two psychological tests, what's called a profile of mood states, looking at depression, anger, hostility, fatigue, confusion, and the depression, anxiety, stress scale, designed to measure negative mood states, hopelessness, lack of interest, anhedonia, which means lack of pleasure, anxiety, stress, agitation, irritability, impatience with people. What do you think they found? Fact or fiction? Vegetarians tend to be, on average, more depressed, anxious, and sad. Fiction. Vegetarians report significantly less negative emotion than omnivores. Why, though? They offer two explanations. First, if you're unhealthy, if you're sick all the time, going back and forth to doctors, dealing with HMOs, of course you're going to be more irritable, stressed, depressed. So they suggest the emotional health of vegetarians may be in part a result of their superior physical health. The second reason may be arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is metabolized in the body to produce inflammatory mediators. In fact, that's how anti-inflammatory drugs like aspirin and ibuprofen work, by interfering with the conversion of arachidonic acid into compounds that produce inflammation, pain, and swelling. Where is arachidonic acid found in our diet? Here's a list of the top 10 sources in the United States. Overwhelmingly, chicken and eggs, though there's also some in beef, pork, fish, and other animal products. So maybe one reason vegetarians are, on average, so much happier, more positive, is that arachidonic acid is a key substrate for the synthesis of pro-inflammatory compounds in the body, which can adversely affect mental health via a cascade of neuroinflammation. So omnivores may be more negative, depressed, stressed, hopeless, in part because their brains are so inflamed by their diet. The anti-inflammatory effect of plant-based diets is more than just about the power of plants, but also the avoidance of animal foods. We've known for 15 years that a single meal high in animal fat, sausage and egg McMuffins were used in the original landmark study, can cause an immediate elevation in inflammation within our bodies that peaks at about 4 hours. Remember the whole endothelial dysfunction story, where you can hook up people to a device that can measure the natural dilation of their arteries and blood flow through ultrasound? So, as you can see here, within hours of eating animal fat, our arteries get paralyzed. We nearly cut their ability to open normally in half. And that's not just happening in our arm. The lining of our whole vascular tree gets inflamed, stiffened, crippled, from just one meal. And just as things start to calm down, 5 or 6 hours later, we may whack our arteries with another load of meat, eggs, or dairy for lunch, such that most of our lives we're stuck in this chronic low-grade inflammation danger zone, which may set us up for inflammatory diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer.
You use a simple framework for delivering a lot of your advice on how to approach one's relationship with food, and what comes to mind is your kind of mantra: eat food, not too much, mostly plants.
Yeah. Well, you know, coming up with those 7 words, which I'm afraid will be on my gravestone unless I come up with something better soon, is the result of a very long process of examining the science of nutrition. But as I got deeper and deeper and deeper, I realized, well, actually, the key issue is, are you eating real food, or what I like to call edible food-like substances, which is to say processed foods. And so the phrase eat food, I realized that's really what you need to know to eat well. Eat food, by which I mean real food. But then I realized that isn't quite enough, because we're also eating too many calories. So not too much became part of the mantra. And then lastly, I was like, well, within the range of foods, is there a class that's better than another class? And one of the things we know is that people who eat lots of plant foods tend to have much better health and better longevity than people who eat a heavy meat diet. So mostly plants. Not all plants. Mostly is, I'm trying to be very reasonable and